Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 10 of the ILR3 Championship today. You join us in the United States, and there will be rain at the end of qualifying or of the race. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to find out soon. But anyway, this should be quite an exciting qualifying session. We've got your boy Jack. He's joining us tonight for the qualifying and the race just as a practice, though, so he's not actually going to be factored into the end result of the race. And the championship as it stands is Zach in the lead. He's 15 points ahead of CR7 in second. And then there's another 13 points to Corey. Scuba is on 87 points behind. No, Scuba's on 91, then 4 points behind him is Seb. Silas is on 46 points. There's only 4 points clear of Carriage. Slenderman on 30 points, 2 points ahead of Matter. Then on 1 point behind him is Paga. Then it's Cohen and Lawmans on 22 points each. Then 20 points will be Emilio Metzvan. Mr. Skies is on 13. Then all of the rest of the drivers, Schumacher, Deneen, Game Boys and Archie, are all on 12 points. And then Bruma is on 8 points. And he's only had 4 finishes this season. And this is going to be the penultimate Grand Prix of the ILR Championship. Sorry about the late start. We're delayed with Norman's joining. And also, Brumadinho, he's actually left ILR3, unfortunately. He's gone to do something else. And anyway, I hope this should be an interesting race. And we can get ready for this qualifying session. We're currently watching Hushrav in his papaya orange McLaren. Although I'm not sure who's in front. It might be Zach. Yeah, he is coming across the line now. So we're going to ride on board with him for this lap. All the way up the hill into turn 1. That hill actually artificial. Heavy braking then. Trying not to look up before we go into turn 2. Which is the S's. And you'll have to see him back off in the bottom right here, and then we're going to be struck by rain, and you can see him lifting but not completely, then lifting, downshifting before accelerating again on the exit out of turn 9 or out of turn 7, and now out of turn 9 through turn 10, flat out left-hander into a downhill heavy braking zone for turn 11. It's important to get the maximum exit possible out of here to try and maximise your speed along the straight. Now then, he is rocketing along here before heavy braking again for turn 12. This track is really like Marmite. Some drivers love it, some drivers absolutely detest it. Now we're going into turns 13, 14 and 15, each of them decently heavy braking zones. It's a turning braking zone for turn 13. Yeah, no, 15. Then we go through the fast right-hander, almost Sochi-like here, but in reverse. Then heavy braking into turn 19, which is followed swiftly by the 90-degree left-hander. A little bit more than that for turn 20, and then out onto the straight to complete a lap of this second. Very early start finish line though, and that's going to be a 1 minute 30.4. And Kern's behind him now. We've got Hushrav coming through turn 20 now. Look at that. On the ultra softs, Zach is about nearly half a second quicker than Cohen, and then Hushrav on the softs with a 1:32.9. And we've got Amelia Metzvan next to her teammate. She's also on the softs, so there's about a 2 second difference, it looks like, between the tyres. Then we've got Archie, he's just crossed the line now. We've got Deneen, he's got a bit of a wheel spin on the exit there. What kind of lap time can he set here? I was expecting to see high 130s, low 131s. And I'm being impressed right now. Silas on the supers with a 131.0. So you can see that those are relatively fast. 131.2 in fact. And that's Game Boys. He's only done like a 1 lap of practice on, I believe. And the highest point in the circuit is turn 1, which is 157.4 meters above sea level. Then the lowest point is 30 meters, and that's between turns 19 and 20. The race distance then will be 154 kilometers or thereabouts, and the second length is 5.5 kilometers. We will be in for a ride of 28 laps. The first Grand Prix being held here in 2012. That's in real life anyway. And seeing as it's COTA, at some point in this race you will see me do the meow, as of course it happens during the actual Grand Prix. This is Jack Then he's doing some practice for ILR Americas this evening. I believe so anyway, and you can see he's on an outlap now. This is Lawman's on the other hand, close behind Mr. Skyzoo. Into turn... Oh, that's Mr. Skyzoo really moving out of the way there, good to see. And Zach has some serious pace around here, I've got to say that. You can see up in the timings, he's 4.5 tenths clear of Kern. And that's not something you see every day. And then Skyzoo's just missing out on the 130s on his ultras. Just 2/3 of a tenth off it. So it's all going to be very close this evening, I think. This track does provide a few overtaking opportunities, although in some cars it's harder than others. Like a GT3 car I don't think would be very fun at all along this track. And there goes Lawman's to start a lap. We've got Massa coming through the final few turns now up towards turn 20. What kind of lap time is going to be set here? He's on the softs. And across the line, it's going to be last with a 1:34.4. We've got Scuba. We've got everyone setting lap times now. And, yeah, we've got Denise. He's already done 2 laps on those ultras, so it's going to be compromising for him to start on those. Most of the soft runners have actually done 2 laps, so maybe it takes a second lap just to really work these tyres in. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it seems to be looking like. As you can see, only some drivers have done an extra lap on their tyres. And yeah, I think we're going to be blessed or cursed, as the drivers might find, with the rain towards the end of the race, and that's going to really spice things up, especially with qualifying strategy. Some drivers might be running higher downforce or a more rain-based strategy. We've got Jack with a 1:40.3 there. Although he doesn't need to be factored into the race, as he's only practicing. He will not be counted in at the end of the race as points finish or anything like that. And if he does finish, and I think he's going to retire at some point during the race anyway. I've actually got a glass of water with me this time, because I've learnt my lesson from previous races. And now will be a good time to point out there's only 12 days till the release of F1 2019. And I am really looking forward to it, especially as a commentator. The graphics are going to be so nice for these league races. Massa running very wide in the exit of the final turn. That's probably a lap invalidation. Yeah, he was a second up there, but invalidated, and that means he would have gained. He would have been in 12th there behind. Oh no, he would have been actually in 11th there behind Scuba. So unfortunately, he did just run wide at the final turn, and that's going to cost him. And that means those tyres are going to be even more worn. I think Jack might be going for a race kind of strategy here in the practice. Seb on an outlap then, really trying to maximise speed out of the final turn. Very nice strategy, just obtaining the latest apex possible before opening out onto the straight. Now, Kota, yeah, as I said earlier, it's a love-hate relationship. It's one of Tilka's finest, I believe. I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to punch my microphone. This is Seb though. He's heading through the S's. These S's, not a great place you want to be following other drivers, because the dirty air kicked up by these cars is not going to be useful if you're following closely. There we go then. Don't forget to like the ILR Twitter, as you know, it's always appreciated, especially if you want to retweet it as well. And it does show appreciation for the league, and you can see some of these qualifying times are getting quite close to each other. The gap between CR7 and Carriage only about under 200th of a second, and the gap between Paga and Game Boys roughly the same. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to be quite an interesting race. Lots of drivers opting to do their first lap on these soft tyres. So is Seb. And as the championship is beginning to wind down, if Zach gets a win here, if I just do some mental maths, he's pretty much won the championship. Although that would mean CR7, he'd definitely be ahead. If he wins here, he will beat Corey. That's not up for debate. Whereas CR7 could be in with a chance next week. With a win here, though, he would be just... Sorry, I was camping last night and I'm very tired. 7 points difference, 15 minus 7, that's 8. So there'd be just 8 points in it as we move into Brazil for the final round. As Silas sets the fast lap with a 1:30.4. Very close. And yeah, so that would mean Zach just needs to finish first, then second to win. Or it would mean that CR7 needs to win this race and come second next race, with Zach DNFing both times for him to win. So I would be 25 plus 15 miles. I give up. If someone wants to work it out in the comments, that would be very much appreciated, because my mental capacity right now is diminished. It's been a long day. As you can probably tell, Scuba, he's done quite a few laps on those softs, I've just noticed. This is Silas, who's on an in lap. You can see his car not going too fast. I think Zach's going for a second lap now on these ultras. He wants to reclaim that pole position, of course, especially in a game like this. We want... you want to be on the pole position, as overtaking makes it... It's just so much more difficult. Now then... I was watching the Le Mans 24 hours earlier, and what struck me as annoying were the commentators saying that F1, the drivers are too wimpy or whatever. I mean, they did have quite a few cheeky stabs, but anyway, yeah, we had the excitement of Le Mans that finished just a few hours ago. Full dry setup. So what might be the strategy here is maybe start on the softs and then try and extend those softs to the end of the session when the rain comes. Whereas, yeah, Carriage going for the super soft softs. So we'll have to see what happens with this rain. I'm not entirely sure how late into the race it's coming. But yeah, so the Le Mans 24 hours. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Buemi, and I believe Nakajima winning the Toyota TS050 LMP1, taking the win after a late pit stop by the number 7 Toyota, gifting them the win. And I mean, the ending was quite close. Some people disagree that it felt like the win was undeserved for Fernando Alonso and his teammates. But, you know, that's racing, and that's the World Endurance Championship for them. And yeah, so Carriage appears to have bottled it. Let's have a quick look at that. Fastest lap time then, Zach with the 1:30.2. So that's going to be pole position again. There's yellow flags in sector 1. And I'm pretty sure I saw some carbon fibre. I'm not 100% on that though. So yeah, so do let me know your opinions on the Le Mans 24 hours that happened earlier today. I mean, some enjoyed it, some not so much. But anyway, enough about Le Mans. Let's get back to this race and this qualifying session. Just 3 minutes and 44 seconds to go for these drivers to start as high up the order as they can. This is Deneen, bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 19. And that's going to be still 6th. Improvement on the lap time, I think, but still remaining in 6th. Bit of a front lock up there as they go into turn 1. And we've got Jack on another lap. It's probably testing how far these super ultras can go. Treating this quali as a practice session, really. Is Zach going to go for another lap? That's the question. Or is he going to leave it for now? And we've got Paga with the support from Corey. So he will be looking for a good result today, as I'm sure all the drivers will. Because this championship... Sorry. Could be won tonight by Zach. Zach would need to finish first. I think. If Zach finishes first, then 22 points, 22-point gap. Then CR7 would only have to finish. If Zach finishes first and CR7 finishes third, I think Zach will win the championship. But I'm not too sure. Yeah. We've got drivers coming out for their final laps, and Danine coming through the Sochi-esque long right hand. That's Scuba there, CR7. There's yellow flags in sector 2. I think that's drivers being let pass, and that's Paga up a second on our lap time, and that's going to be 10th position for him. Oh, no, never mind. His best is on the supers, the softs even. Now then, we got Jack. He's got Hushrab behind him. And Hushrab, yep, Zach moving out of the way for him. Good. And Jack, on those ultras, he's set a 133.0. That's quite respectable for relatively worn tyres. And for the penultimate race of the season, it should be cracking. And I believe the other races, I think ILR1 was just a DRS train, so it's going to be interesting what happens. And I know ILR2 is full wets at the moment. And we might see something a bit like Monza, because if we do, I think my mic is sorted out. Hushrab up into 5th there with a 130.966, just squeezing it in to the 130 barrier. That's Jack out of the session, probably just retiring to get out of people's way. Hushrab definitely going slowly there. We've got Carriage, he's up 5 thousandths of a second, down 5 thousandths of a second on his previous lap time for that sector. And that's the boom studio for when the helicopter thing. So if we do get the helicopter, you know what's happening. Paga up into 6th there then, very good there, 4 thousandths of a second off Carriage. Carriage absolutely flying up this hill, trying to set the best lap possible. Running out of ERS mode by the second. Look at this camera angle, we've even got a bit of the rear wing open for us. Maybe that could happen. Maybe that's only when the DRS is open, well, I don't know. I've never seen that before, but that's a big front right lock up for Carriage. He'll be starting on these sides, so he probably doesn't want to do that too much. Locking up again, trying to get that maximum exit out of the final turn. 7 Danine both taking the checkered flag now. Whatever lap these drivers are on, it's going to be their final lap. Can Carriage improve from 7th across the line? It's going to be 5th with a 130.958, so just about ahead of Hushrab. Then we've got Paga there. Silas is in sector 3, going through this little bit here. Flat out around there, but in the rain, that might be a very different story. Coming through turn 19 towards turn 20 now. Up towards the line. What's it going to be? Is it going to be an improvement? It is. But it's not going to be enough to take pole position. Now we've got Cohen there in 3rd. Currently Zach's on the pole position for now, so he doesn't really need to push those tyres if he doesn't really want to. Paget retiring from the session. We've got Skyzy in sector 3. So is Cohen, but Skyzy is ahead going through turn 19 now before opening it up. No, he's not. He's going towards turn... I don't even know anymore. Whereas we've got Cohen here. The big old tower in the background through turn 19 into the pits. So we'll get back to Skyzy going into the pits as well. And that is going to bring us to an end for the qualifying session. I hope you enjoyed that. And now let's get ready for what should be an excellent Grand Prix. Sorry for the delayed stream start. That was due to some issues with drivers joining the lobby. Hopefully we won't get plagued with that too much. And we should still be in for an absolute cracker. So turn 16, 17 and 18. Multiple apex. Relatively strange. And yeah. Just waiting for the drivers to go back into their pit boxes. And someone's at the door. I don't quite know who that is, but anyway. circuit of the Americas then, here in Austin, Texas. Probably got some decently warm weather. Strange that we'll get hit by rain with weather such as this, but these things happen. And anyway, that's Zach in pole position, so we can get ready to run through the grid order once we've got everyone readied up. Now then, it's going to be Zach starting on pole position, followed by Silas. Then it's going to be Kern and Skyzy, Carriage and Hushrav, Paga and Scuba, Gameboys and Seb, Archie, Lawmans, Deneen, CR7, Neely Metsfan and Jack, Matt and Matta rounding off the grid 4.5 seconds off pole position. Whereas the more competitive drivers are Neely Metsfan just 1.85 seconds off. And it's been quite a close qualifying session, as you can see here. Some of the drivers within thousandths of a second of each other. That's always good to see. Big old Texas flag there on the runoff area. Now then, you can see the clouds and the overcast conditions. That might bring the rain further on in the race. I'm not sure how late in the race it's going to come though. That hasn't been. I know it says it's going to come late, but how late is the question. Now then, the driver's just choosing their strategies, and I'm going to sort out my mic volume quickly, just because the as you can hear in the background, the tumble dryer has been turned on. So I don't know if that's going to be. I'm literally going to have to be inside the mic at this point, but it's going to be fine. So let's get straight in. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Let's get into the warm-up formation, whatever the hell lap. And Skyzoo's already been disqualified from the session, so that's not an excellent start. That's not what he's going to be looking for this evening. Now then, Silas. Zach is the leader in the Ferrari behind him. And CR7, championship contender, all the way down in 14th. So that's going to be rather interesting. So I think it's highly likely that the championship's going to be taken by Zach this evening. Now then, Haas is leading the championship, followed by Ferrari and Mercedes. Then it's going to be Williams, Force India, Sauber and Red Bull, and then McLaren and Renault and Toro Rosso rounding off quite a few DNS and no point finishes for that team. Sorry. Alright then, let's get ready as we round the next few turns. I hate commentating over this track, mainly because it's featureless, so it's hard to tell whereabouts you are. And I don't know it that well either, but we're currently going towards turns 16, 17 and 18. Multiple apex right-hander, so that's going to be tricky, I think, in the rain. Especially much trickier than in the dry, at least. But anyway, coming out of the final turn now towards the line to start the Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas. For round 10 of the ILR Season 5 Championship. ILR3. Championships could be won or lost this evening. For readying up for 28 laps here at Circuit of the Americas. And I've got the phrase I'm going to be saying, ready to rumble. Well, that's not quite the one. It's going to be green flag being waved. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. out and boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. Silas off with a great start there in the background. You can see he's going to be trying to make a move up on Zach, but down the inside goes Skyzy on him. Skyzy's got Kern going round the outside. Can Kern hold on to that position? They're going to be side by side. And it looks like Skyzy's going to have to stay behind Kern for now. Hushrav's gained a position already on Carriage. Carriage is down and Hushrav goes wide, and that's going to give Carriage the position back to where he qualified in. Scuba trying to find somewhere past Hushrav now, but the dirty air is not going to be helping him in this little train. Then Paga trying to find somewhere through here. Hushrav right up the chuff of Carriage. Then Archie's had a decent start. He's gained 2 places. ZR7 gaining 3, so he's going to try and make as many as he can at the beginning of the race here. Hushrav trying to go down the inside of Carriage. It looks like he's managed to do it. He's got the position then. And CR7, he's having an absolutely excellent start to the race. Look down here, we got Jack, he's dropped to the back, but not all the way, because we've still got Matter where he qualified. Oh, and there's some drives all over the place. Look at this, down the inside goes Seb on Game Boys. Can he get the position? It looks like he can, and the braking then going into the back of CR7 into turn 13. Now we're going through turns 14 and 15. No, we're not. Oh, I'm completely lost, but that does not matter, because look at this race. Look how close these drivers are. Could we see a move from Carriage here? No, we're not. He's actually lost loads of time to Scuba there. And we'll have a look at the top, because Silas is just a tenth of a second behind Zach. Already completed lap 1 here, and it's been quite entertaining. Zach with the fastest lap, of course, starting on pole. Very easy to do. Then into turn 1, we got yellow flags in sector 3, and that's CR7 out of the Grand Prix! Oh no. It hasn't brought out a safety car. But is that the championship in the bin? For the one person who could contest. Is it all over before it's really begun? We'll go down to Scuba, because look how close he is behind Hushrav. But is it over before it's even begun for CR7? He's not even made it to the end of lap 1. Severe disappointment for him then. And that has not gone well. Is all I can say. And now all Zach has to do is pretty much nurse it to the line. If he can finish with 11 or more points, he's got the championship then. And that shouldn't be too hard to do, considering he's leading at quite a solid gap there then, already up to a second. And we're only halfway around at lap 2. Now we're going to go down to Lawman's, because he's close behind Deneen and Mili Metzvan, also in a battle here. Mili Metzvan and Deneen locking up in a unison as we move towards lap 3, and that's going to mean DRS being activated. Seb clearly in support of the CPI group. Now let's go up to Scuba, because look at this. DRS has been activated. Can we see a move here? Hushrav trying to block Carriage. Carriage could take a move down the inside. Yes, he does, into turn 1. Can he hold on to the position as we move into the S's? Whoever comes out first here will hold on to the position. And it looks like Hushrav's come out on top just there. Carriage behind Scuba actually. And yeah, Carriage has lost the position there. Didn't even notice that. And Scuba trying to go down the inside of Hushrav. Could go for the switchback. It looks like he's going to. Can he get the position off the McLaren? It's Haas versus McLaren. And that's Silas losing many positions for unknown reasons. That's not good for him. And now we could see quite a bit of action here as we got the two Williams side by side. Paga trying to go into the back of Carriage. And look at that. Archie and Seb. Archie's made up 2 positions since the start of the race. Oh my goodness, look at this. Could we see a move here from Carriage on Scuba? Not quite as CPR Silas run wise. Scuba trying to get past Hushrav, not really able to. He's just gone slightly wide there. And look how close these drivers are. This is definitely going to become a DRS train. Look at that, Seb trying to go down the inside of his teammate Archie. It looks like he's done. He's touched the back of Paga though. And Archie's going to stay ahead for now. Just about holding on to that position. Now look at all this contact. That's Silas off the track, as is Hushrav. There's major front wing damage for the McLaren. And that's him all the way down into 10th place. 11th place. Jack going to get a 3-second time penalty. Absolute scenes here as Ostrand's missed the pit entrance and he's off the track and he's got a collision with Lormans and Lormans is in the barrier and that's Lormans out of the race. No! What on earth has happened there? It's gone all pear-shaped for all of the drivers. First it was CR7, then it was Lormans. What on earth just happened? I'm completely lost. That was just an absolute cluster. Yeah, I won't finish off that word. I need some water off that. Jesus. That is absolute disappointment for half of the drivers on the track. Wow. So I'm going to have a quick look at the replay here, or will I? If my Wi-Fi can hold up, but I mean, that is not something you like to see. And it's just a bit of a shame, really, to see such bad accidents happening. And I mean, that's ruined quite a few people's races this evening. I can guarantee that. I'm trying to have a look back at it, but it doesn't look like my Wi-Fi wants me to, unfortunately, Lewis. But yeah, I'll take your word for it. I mean, I'll just try and keep an eye on the timings, because what on earth. Jack then, I think he got caught up in that as well. I think everyone really got caught up in that. I mean, major scenes. And now we've got Seb closing up on Archie. These two Williams battling it out on the track here. Archie trying to find somewhere past Pagger, but he's going to have to look behind him at the Williams filling his rear view mirror. Yeah, so we'll forget about the past and look to the future, because this race is far from over. And look at that, Seb really trying to find somewhere past his teammate now. I mean, I feel like Cody's got the cameras wrong here. We can't actually see what's going on. But there goes Seb trying to find somewhere down the inside of Archer as we move in towards turn 12. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it, and then Seb is still right up his gearbox. He's not going to be able to find anywhere past for now. And the gaps are beginning to extend a bit. Just have a look at that. So all the leaders are on Ultras, apart from Gameboys. Gameboys is the only guy on Ultras that's not actually in the top 4. And it looks like the tyres have just divided themselves out quite evenly, which is relatively strange. But on a track like this, it's quite hard to overtake, so it's understandable to see why that has happened. Anyway, exactly a second gap between 7 and Gameboys for a second now. It's always quite interesting. Skyzy, has he had another incident? Because he's lost a position and Carriage is trying to find somewhere around the inside of him there. Skyzy, that's the second time he's lost positions in this section of the track. So that's not gone well for him, and it looks like Pagger's going to be trying somewhere here as well. But Pagger's got Archie trying to find somewhere past him too. Can he hold on to that position? He's going to look to the inside of Mr. Skyzy. Can he hold on to it? And it looks like he can, but only just, as now we've got Seb and Archie side by side along the straight. Seb's going to have the inside line into turn 12. And I can't have a look at this comment for some reason unbeknownst to me. There we go, and down the inside goes Seb. Can he get Skyzy as well? It looks like he can't quite. He's got contact there. That's going to give Seb the opportunity to get past. Archie hit the inside of Skyzy, and that's going to cost him the position to Seb, and that's going to cost Skyzy the position to Seb as well. So Seb's now ahead, and Archie's still behind Skyzy, but will he be behind for much longer? Because he's really trying to find it somewhere. Unfortunately, Corey, you couldn't make it tonight. I hope you're having fun in Oxford. Archie really struggling to find somewhere as Skyzy peels into the pits, and that means the Ultrasoft drivers are going to be pitting any moment now. We're already lap 7 of 28, a quarter of the way through the Grand Prix. And it's been pretty hectic as we've got Mini Metsfan go down the inside of Game Boys into turn 1. There's contact, it looks like. And has Game Boys lost that position permanently as we move through the S's? It looks like it. Have to try and find somewhere back through later on in the race. Oh, and that's a bit of a corner cut for Mili Metz, but no time penalties there. Deneen has got a time penalty though. That's going to be 3 seconds for him. And now the Deneen's in a Toro Rosso sandwich. I've just finished off the rest of my water. Look at that, Deneen. Game Boy's trying to find somewhere past the Mili Metsfan. That gap's quite small, but the gap that's even smaller, oh, not quite actually, because we've got a 0.2 of a second gap here between Mili Metsfan. Carriage getting past Scuba. Here comes Game Boy down the inside of Mili Metsfan. Can he hold on to the position? As behind we've got Mata going down the inside of Deneen. Can it be a double Toro Rosso overtake? It looks like it can as we go into turn 13. What a move there by the Toro Rossos. Both of them making synchronised overtakes there. And that's going to be 8th and 10th. So that's going to be points positions for both of the Toro Rossos then. Question is, will they be able to hold on to that? As the Grand Prix progresses, and now Zach has pitted. Is pitting now. Deneen still trying to find somewhere past Matt, but it doesn't look like he's going to find anywhere past quite soon. And Mili Metsfan dropping behind Game Boys. We've got Seb here. About 0.4 of a second behind Paga. Don't think that's close enough though, whereas we've got Mata right up the chuff of Mili Metsfan. Can she hold on to that position? She got a bit of oversteer, and that's going to give the door wide open as she's got a time penalty now, and that's going to give Mata the position pretty much if he stays this close behind for the rest of the race, which will be not good for his tyres because he's got Deneen right behind him now. So got a bit of a train developing behind this Renault as she's going to move to the outside, and there goes Mata down the inside. Can Deneen make a move here as well? He's going to look to the inside of Mata too. Not quite. Through turn 11 there's tyre contact, and that's absolute ear rape coming from the rev limiter of the Force India, now side by side with Mili Metsfan. And that's going to be Deneen down the inside. Can he make a move on Mata as well? Not quite. Front right lock up then. The rev limiter Gritch wreaking havoc upon our rears if we ride on board with this Force India. Anyway, it's been an excellent start to the Grand Prix, I think you have to admit. And this means Cohen is now in the lead. We're going to get the stops up now because you can see Zach, he's stopped. He's behind Mili Metsfan. So I think if you stop, because the drop, look at that, there's only 11 seconds, 11.5 seconds in the top 11, in the top 10. And yeah, if you stop, you're going to drop further back than that. So it's all getting quite interesting. There's yellow flags in Sector 2. Don't quite know the cause. Oh, and it's Jack the wrong way round on the exit of turn 11. Trying to get a bit too greedy with the throttle on the traction out of the exit there, and it's going to cost him. He's now facing the wrong direction. I don't think he's going to be wanting to do that. At least he's not competitive right now. As long as he doesn't bring out a safety car, that's all that matters. Otherwise, I don't think the ILR drivers will be too keen on him racing again. We're now a third of the way through the race. Lap 9 of 28. And it's been quite a roller coaster so far. As in the background, you can see Seb on Paga with the DRS, ERS and Slipstream. Don't think he's going to be anywhere near close enough to make a move here. Up ahead though, we've got Scuba and Carriage for the lead. Very close to each other. Will it be close enough? Carriage taking a bit of a wide line, and he's left the door wide open for Scuba in the Haas. But he's managed to close it just about. Now we move towards turn 16, 17, and 18. Jack retiring from the session then. I think that's his practice done. He's done about 9 laps. Remember, we've still got this rain to come later in the race, and Seb's getting a 3-second time penalty, so he won't be too happy about that. He's currently in 4th position, and Silas has gone all the way from being in 2nd to very lost. So I don't quite know what's happened to him. He's only done 1 stop. He must have had some kind of accident somewhere. Zach sets another fast lap with a 1:35.1. He's done his pit stop for the day. It looks like the strategy could be supers to softs or ultras to softs. Oh my god, I've just dropped an electric guitar on my mic. I hope you haven't died, you earphone users, and oh, it's all gone wrong. Making a move here into turn 19, 20 even. No, 11. Got there in the end. Let me just sort out this mic. Stupid mic. Stay up, you idiots. Look at that, Seb. Just 0.2 of a second, 1/10 of a second. Bloody hell. And he's going to go around the outside on Paga. Can he get the position? I don't think he can. I'm trying to do some maintenance to my mic stand right now. It's not going too well. Scuba on Carriage as well. That's another battle we're going to have to look out for right now. There we go. Here we are then. I've got everything sorted. Zach's already caught up to Deneen, and that means those who've pitted are catching up. And my mic stand is royally screwed now. Oh, pits. Stay up. Bloody hell. There we go. Finally, I've sorted it out. And Cohen's got a fast lap with a 1:34.9 on those soft tyres. And that's going to leave Carriage in the lead. How long will he go on for? He is on the softs, mind you. Look at that, Deneen on Zach, just been overtaken. They're going to be side by side through the S's, and Zach's had to back off. There's front wing damage for one of them. Is that the race leader who's going to be impeded? It looks like he's got an illegal overtake there. He's had to give it back to Deneen. I think Deneen was the one with the front wing damage. I can't quite tell though. And Skyzy has got a 3-second time penalty. I think Deneen came out with the damage there. I did see the carbon fibre fly across the track to go through turn 11. It looks like, yeah, Deneen must have got the front wing damage from that. Although, as far as I could tell, the Ferrari was behind. So, never mind. As there goes down the inside, Zach on Deneen into turn 12. And it looks like the Ferrari has got the position quite easily. And, yeah, Deneen's going to have to back off. I mean, he's a pit stop ahead. There's not much point in battling him. It was just caused unnecessary tyre wear to the Force India, who's trying to go for the one stop with those softs. Maybe stretch them as far as the wet period, because I think the clouds are becoming thicker and thicker. But will the rain arrive in time for intermediate or even wet tyres to be brought out? That is the real question we're asking today. Carriage with a pit stop there. He's coming out of the pit lane now. Where he's going to come out is unknown, because look at this. You've got people flying up. And it's just testament to how close these drivers are in ILR3. Because I do that, I mean, the top 5 are separated by about 10 seconds, but that's including pit stops. From 5th down to 11th, there's only about 11 seconds in it, which is pretty good. I mean, these gaps are beginning to extend a bit now, but it's nothing too bad. Anyway. Carriage is behind Paga. Will we see an overtake from Carriage anytime soon? It looks like he's actually dropping miles behind the Mercedes, as only 3 drivers haven't pitted, and that's going to be Archie, Mata and Deneen. So, yeah, it looks like they... I mean, Archie's really stretching those supers. Don't think he needs to stretch them any further. Lawrence has left the session. Oh, he's already out though, so that's fine. We've got 14 drivers left then. Not the ideal turnout tonight. We only had 16 drivers. And I mean, 3 of them have retired. It'd be nice to see all of the drivers here for the final race. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Archie now making his pit stop. It was needed, and that's Scuba with a 1:34.6. But as the fastest lap, as now we've got Kern right on the back of Deneen. Zach on Matter as well. In fact, we might have to get ready to go to Zach at a moment's notice. Look at that, Deneen is close. There's a small gap between himself and the Renault of Cohen. Whereas ahead we've got Zach battling with Matter. I think we're going to move to Zach first, because it looks like he's going to be the next to get a overtake. And the tyres Zach is on are a lot younger than Matters, and Matters just going to pretty much move out of the way there. They try and go defensive as, yeah, he does. In fact, there's a bit of contact there. Kern making a move on Deneen. It looked like the switchback maneuver helped massively there. Now for on-track position, it's going to be Scuba battling with Skyzy as we go towards turn 19, I want to say. No, it's not. It's turn 15. There we go. You learn something new every day, even if you should have known it in the first place. Anyway, let's continue. That's a 3-second time penalty for Seb due to multiple warnings for the driver. And Scuba, he's got the ERS and slipstream into turn 1. Will he get the position? He moves to the inside and he's late on the brakes. Has he gone too late though? Because Skies is going to try and get the switchback maneuver down. Skies is on the supers and I don't think he's banking. I think he must be banking on the rain at some point to switch onto the ultras, because those supers are not going to make it to the end of the race. We're already halfway through. And these tyres are 7 laps old, so he's clearly going for the 2 spot. Game Boy is getting a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, so Skyzy owes another pit stop. As we got Kern on Matter. 0.3 of a second between these two drivers, but Matter is a pit stop behind. As the DRS has now been activated for the Toro Rosso. Down the inside into turn 12, then goes the Renault. The DRS is actually active for the Renault. Sorry. And it looks like the Renault is going to be ahead for now. So that's ILR3 Massa now in third. So these gaps are not the biggest, but not the smallest. As Silas on Hush, I was going to say Silas on Hushrav. That's something to look out for. But we've got a bit of a train here forming behind Deneen. Deneen's yet to pit, so we could see a move here from Scuba into the next turn, into turn 1. Looks like he's trying to take a sniff down the inside while I sort out my mic. And the switchback could be on there for Deneen. Not quite. What on God's green earth has happened to it? I'm so sorry. Yeah, and it looks like Deneen's going to have to give up the position. Will Skies be able to get past soon as well, though. Deneen's going to provide some traffic, and that's going to really close up these drivers, because we've got Paga trying to find somewhere past the Force India. Soon to be the racing point, Formula 1. Silas and Heshrab really scrapping. And Carriage is trying to find somewhere past. Just work, you stupid Mike. Sorry. It keeps falling down. Yeah, but Silas and Heshrab really fighting here towards the straight. I think it's going to be interesting to watch, even though we've got Paga, who's getting an overtake around the outside. Then goes Silas on Hushrav. Can he get the position? It looks like he's not going to quite be able to. Whereas we'll go to Mr. Skyzy and Deneen. Look at that, almost inside each other there. Not sure if I'd ever want to say that out of context. Skyzy then on Deneen. Deneen getting a 3-second time penalty as they both run wide. And Deneen finally takes a pit stop at long last. And I can't remember what Skyzy wants. And that's a 3-second time penalty for Silas. Whereas we've got Scuba getting it down the inside of Matter. Matter's yet to pit, remember. And they've got Carriage on Paga and Paga on Skyzy. And Scuba getting a 3-second time penalty. I think there was another penalty in there as well I just missed out on. Can we please see this battle? Look at that. Oh my bloody hell. I am actually spasticated. Got a Renault, it looks like, being lapped. No, that was just me being stupid. Now we've got Crash trying to go around the outside of Paga into turn 11. There's a lock-up and contact. Who's going to get the power on the exit? It looks like Paga's got the advantage, but the DRS to defend as well. You can see the double slipstream for Carriage. It looks like he's running slightly lower downforce. Could we see too wide into turn 12? Yes, we do. A bit of a lock-up from both of the drivers, and now can Carriage try and get the switchback, many of it down? It doesn't look like he quite can. Skyzy on Paga, or rather, the opposite way round. And it looks like Paga's going to have to back off for now. Now 16 of 28 then, and that gap really extending through that sector there. Ishrav's back ahead of Silas. I mean, it's half tempting just to have a go down and look at that rattle there as Massa does make that pit stop. And that's clean air for the guys behind him. As these guys are really trying to find somewhere through here. It looks like the Carriage could be going for the switchback move. Not quite. And he's going to have to back off for now. Look at this. Silas and Hushrav fighting tooth and nail at the bottom here. I mean, that's not something we often see, especially for lot. Oh, so they're fighting for second last. But I think when we back up to Paga and Skyzy, Zach's got a not comfortable lead, but he's got a decent lead. He's been holding on to for most of the races. Paga gets overtaken by Carriage there, but he sends it back around the outside as a defensive move on towards turn 12. They're going to be side by side. It's Paga with the DRS, so has Carriage though. And they're going to be side by side as we move towards turn 12. Who's going to stay ahead? Under braking, it looks like the Red Bull's got it a bit late, and the switchback could be on here for the Mercedes, but not quite. He's going to have to back off for now. And that means Carriage is in 5th, Paga in 6th. Paga's trying to find somewhere around the outside of Carriage though. Not quite. He's going to have to back off for now. Alright then, Paga and Carriage. This battle really raging, but we'll go down to Hushrav and Silas for a bit. Because I feel like they deserve some screen time, because they're really fighting and we've just been missing their whole battle. Unfortunately. Oh, what on earth? The yellow flags are set through. Was there contact there? So what happened? I looked away for a second and they just stopped moving. I mean, Hushrav pretty much stopped on track. Don't know what happened there, but we'll go back up to this battle, because look at this. Carriage on Skyzy. Silas and Hushrav pitting again. We get rid of all this side stuff and just... Oh no, Hushrav's retired from the session. Maybe he had some severe front wing damage. I thought there was no point continuing, I don't know. Now then, Carriage on Skyzy, but Paga is also thrown into the mix there. As we move towards turn 12, Hushrav leaving the session. There's the yellow flags in sector 3. As down the inside takes a sniff. Carriage can't quite follow the move through there. He's going to try and get it on the power on Skyzy. He's going to move to the inside. Can he get it? Oh, there's contact between the front tyre of the Red Bull and the rear tyre of the Alfa Romeo. And back round the outside, Carriage can't quite get the position as Paga really closes up there. Skyzy still defending for his life around here. He's doing some really good driving to prevent the overtake happening. We've got 10 laps to go then. We're pretty much 2/3 of the way through. Oh, Skyzy goes into the pits. He was on the supers and that was inevitable. Now we've got to look out for Paga trying to find somewhere through here. He's now only got Carriage between him and the 4th position. Mind you, at the top, Cohen could be on for a win here. Half a second off Zach. Maybe waiting for a late move, but Danina's got the fast lap with a 134 something there. And well, look at this, Cohen on Zach. They're on the same tyre. Cohen's a 1 lap younger, which might come into play, but it's unlikely. I mean, it's all to play for here. Could Cohen take his first win in ILR3? That is the question. Oh my god, this stand is really annoying me into turn 12. Cohen taking a look, but not quite finding anywhere through there as we go through turns 13, 14 and 15. Kosa, just a hard track all round. Now then, look at that, Scuba is not far behind, so we don't know who's going to come out on top here. These top 3 separated by under a second. Now then, in the closing stages of this race, we might see something here, as the sky is now completely overcast. The rain could come any moment now then. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. I'm going to keep switching to the onboards just to make sure whether there's rain or not, because this is going to be interesting. Cohen, 4 tenths off. Who will pit when the rain comes out? Will there be a need to pit? That is the question. 3-second time penalty for Mr. Skyzy. Usually the point when it's time to pit is the point when the game disables DRS. Now then, Kern 4 tenths off, Scuba is 5 tenths off. Oh, to play for in these top 2. We've got Seb on Paga as well. We'll have a quick look down at that. Seb goes down the inside of Paga. Try to combine their 2 names there. It's Williams versus Mercedes. And it looks like Paga is going to be out on top as though. Moving to the inside goes Seb. Can he get the position? It looks like he does under braking into the next turn. They're side by side and it looks like the Mercedes are going to have to back up, but can he get the switchback move done into turn 13? It doesn't quite look like it, and that's going to be 6th position for Seb. 5th position even for Seb, 6th for Paga. And it looks like he's going to be losing time to Seb through here. Then we can go back to Scuba. Lots of decent there from Cohen. The closing stages of the race then at lap 21 of 28. Who will finish where? Let me know your predictions down in the comments. Alright then. There is a need for speed, especially up in the top, because we've got Massa going down the inside of Millimetz and into turn 1. Couldn't have timed that switch more perfectly. Although Millimetz fan still staying ahead of Massa. Through the next turn, the dirty end not helping it. 3-second time penalty, as has Archie got one, and that could come into play at the end of the race. Seb, he's clear of Archie, but he's not clear of Paga yet. So that penalty, unless there's other people with it. And yeah, it's Urstrav saying that he's ready to take quali ban because he feels so bad for ruining everyone's race, and that's understandable. We saw what happened at the beginning. Tried to make it in, but he didn't quite. He bounced off the pit wall, but here comes Mata down the inside of Millimetz, run into turn 12. We've got Deneen sitting quietly behind them as a spectator. Let's watch it unfold from his perspective. Oh, and he's going to try and send it down the inside of Mata. That was not expected. He's touched it, and that's Mata in the barrier with heavy front wing damage. Now Deneen trying to get past Skyzy, and I'm not sure whether that was very just. Skyzy just appeared out of nowhere there. I think that was a bit of a late call there from the driver. Now Seb, Scuba even trying to send it around the inside of Kern into turn 1. Looks like the outside line might be more effective through there. If you're defending Skies, you're getting in 134.1 fastest that time. Really picking up the pace here. Well, I don't know, I think Deneen was at fault there. There's clearly a battle going on in front, and sending it down the inside like that was very dangerous. And he should have seen that coming. Elstrav has retired, of course. I mean, everyone's getting time penalties. I've given up at this point, trying to keep on top of them. So that would be something to take into account at the end of the race. It's very hard to keep within the track limits around this track though. You know, I'll have a look at the pens, although Cohen is trying to make a look around the outside into turn 12. Can he get the position? The switchback could be on here. It doesn't look. Oh, Zach slowing down. There's the yellow flags in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Is that Millie Metz fan? Going slowly? No, that's just her and Skyzy battling now. Scuba on Cohen. I'll have a look at the pens in just a second. Trying to keep on top of all this action unfolding at once. The sky's still overcast but not quite raining just yet. Into turn 1 then we might see a move from one of these three drivers. Hager getting a 3-second time penalty. Into turn 1 then. Can we see a move here from Cohen on Zach? Not quite, but neither can we see one from Scuba. So through the S's we'll have a quick look at penalties. So, oh, there's a lot. There's 3 seconds for Silas, 3 for Jack, but Jack's out, 3 for Archie, 3 for Deneen, 3 for Paga, 3 for Skyzy, 3 for Carriage, 3 for Deneen again, so that puts him on 6, Silas on 3, Millimetz on 3, Jack on 3, but he's out, Hushtrav on 3, he's out, Seb's on 3, Skyzy on another 3, and that's Seb on another 3, Game Boys on 3, Deneen on a 3, so that puts him on 9, Archie on 3, that puts him on 6, Silas on 3, that puts him on 6, Scuba on 3, Game Boys is another 3, Deneen has another 3, I've given up at that point, so Scuba has 3, Skyzy has another 3, Seb has another 3, and Archie has another 3, so does Silas and Millimetz fan again, and Paget as well. Look at this, Scuba trying to send it down the inside of Cohen. Although Scuba has got that 3-second penalty to worry about. Oh, and there's rain on track as well. Alright then, this is where things are going to really spice up. This is where you're going to get excited. Get your popcorn ready because a true race is about to unfold. Look at that. The rain, they said it would come with 5 laps to go. It has come. But will it stay, and what extent will it be? Scuba trying to get past down the inside into turn 1. Can he get the position of Kern? It looks like he can. Goes at the back off there. Slippery on the outside line then. And now Carriage has come to join the party here. Can Kern hold on to that position? It looks like maybe they're able to. Through the S's, they're really gaining on Cohen. But will they be able to hold on to it? Kern really dropping back now. This rain is going to really hamper some people's races, depending on how fast they can drive in the rain and what setups they're using. Maybe theirs was more quality oriented. Definitely popcorn. The RS is still enabled, but look at that. The rain is really having an effect. Seb has joined that battle as well, but he's got a lot of time penalties. I think Carriage has a bit of time penalties. Cohen is really backing off Scuba. Scuba trying to find somewhere through to Zach. There's yellow flags in sector 2, and that's Seb and Carriage side by side through the next few turns. Who's going to come out on top? They must be stopping for tyres any moment now. Look at that, this top 5 absolutely close as... what's very close? I don't know. Close as a family. Right now, depending on what family you're in, I suppose. What on earth? Bloody hell. Don't know what happened there. My mic's just had a full-on spasm. Scuba then. DRS active. Can he get to Zach? Lap 25 of 28 here. Down the inside into turn 1. Not quite from the other drivers who might be a bit more gung-ho. Could we see a move from them? Not quite. Look at that. 1st to 6th. Very close in it. The battle for the podium is between Carriage and Cohen, but other drivers could join in. We've got Scuba trying to fight Zach for the lead here. Oh my goodness, I don't think anyone was expecting something like this. And I think Carriage might be looking to make a move on Cohen now in the next couple of turns. I can tell Scuba's good in these conditions because that's rocketing away from Cohen and closing up that gap to Zach. I think it's going to be too late to pit 2 inters, even if it is necessary. even if it is necessitated. And, well, the strategy is going to come interesting. It's down the inside into turn 12. Goes Scuba for the lead of the Grand Prix here. Lap 25 of 28. They're side by side into the next turn. He's going to come out on top. It looks like Zach. He's still got the inside line, and Scuba's going to stay on the outside. There's wet line not going to help him, and that's Zach running rather wide. Carriage still ahead of, still behind Cohen, but ahead of Seb. And look out, Pagger's still relatively close behind. Kern's really closing up now. These wet conditions making the race properly unfold now. The tyres are going to get a bit more slippery due to these wet conditions. And Scuba's absolutely pulling away there with that lead now in hand. Can Carriage make a move here on Cohen into turn 1 or through the S's? It's going to be difficult though. Scuba has got a lot of support. He just needs to not bin it. There's yellow flags in sector 3. Don't know what for. Look at that. The rain is really coming down now. The DRS is still activated, I think, or enabled even. Don't know if it's still activated through the S's. That wouldn't be too beneficial for the drivers, I don't think. Yellow flags in sector 1 and sector 2. What's gone on there? Carriage trying to find somewhere past Kern, not quite able to. Look at that, Seb's right up his chuff though. Scuba's already 1.5 seconds clear of Zach, and it's only been about a lap. Oh my goodness. Would you look at this? This is an excellent end to a Grand Prix. Carriage trying to find somewhere past the Renault here. Seb goes down the inside. Carriage has run wide. That's going to cost him the position. And that's Carriage down to 5th. And Seb up into 4th. But the podium still to fight for. Cohen's closing up on Zach potentially. Remember, Scuba does have that 3-second time penalty though. So he's going to have to keep an eye out for that. Seb's trying to find somewhere past Cohen. This is for the podium position. Scuba, he's gained 2 seconds now. He just needs to find an extra second in these conditions. Yellow flags again in sector 2. It's down the inside into turn 20. No one saw that coming from Seb. He's forced Kern a bit wide, and that's going to be the podium position. But remember, Seb's got a decent amount of time penalty. I think Carriage is going to get past Kern as well. Kern got really compromised on the exit of the final turn there. Round the outside into turn 1 though. Will they be able to stay ahead? It doesn't look like it. And Carriage is going to be ahead for these last few laps then. Look at that, no one was expecting rain. It's been full wet in ILR2, I think. But in ILR3, no one saw rain. Well, people did see rain coming at the end. But it's really throwing a spanner into the works then. And with 2 laps to go, Scuba needs to find an extra half a second. He's going to be able to, I think. And all he needs to do now is keep his head, because Zach is closing up. At this rate, he might not even finish in first. This guy's getting 3-second time penalty. Big wheel spin there for Zach. Massive tank slapper, and that's going to really compromise his exit out of turn 13. Now then, we've got Seb trying to close up on Zach. He's going to move to the inside into turn 12. Can he get it? 3-second time penalty for Mili Metzvan, and that's going to be second for Seb. But with time penalties, who knows where it's actually going to be, because Zach's trying to get it back on the exit around the outside. Going to go for the switchback move here. Just a tenth of a second in it between these two drivers. Through the next few turns, can Zach get past Seb, or will Seb be able to stay ahead? We've got Carriage close. Pagger's also taken over Cohen, so I don't know what's happened to Cohen. Really dropping off at the end here, and now Scuba is 3 seconds clear of Seb. Oh my goodness, the yellow flags in sector 2. That, I don't know what that's for. Oh, look at that, side by side Deneen and Game Boys. No, it wasn't. Oh no, yeah, it's Deneen and... No, that's Deneen and Matter being the lap there. Sorry, just got a bit confused there. Look at this, the rain falling thick and fast now. Sar's getting a 3-second time penalty, but he's already down to 12th now. Surprisingly, we haven't had a DNF in these wet conditions, but now final lap of the race. And what a Grand Prix it has been here this evening. Sector 3 yellow flags. Look at that. Look how much the tyres are sliding in these conditions. Scuba's pulled away a massive lead here. Look at that. It's already 4 seconds clear. I don't quite know where he's found that place. But he's got, as I was talking about drivers not retiring, Mata is in the barrier, it looks like. Yellow flags in sector 3. Seb is closing up a bit on Scuba. But remember, Seb scored 3 seconds worth of time penalties. I can't quite remember how much. Deneen's got another 3-second time penalty. Mata leaving. That was the final lap of the race as well. How heartbreaking. Into turn 12 for the final time goes Scuba. What a hectic end to the race. I don't think anyone expected that all to happen in such short notice, such quick succession. I mean, I'm absolutely nearly lost for words. Mealy Mets fan getting another 3-second time penalty. What a race it has been here as Seb comes towards turn 19 for the final time. The rain properly falling now. I think if this had come any sooner, the inters would have had to been cracked out rather shortly. I mean, stuff's still enabled. Matt is not going to be happy about that, but that's Scuba taking the flag. Then it's going to be Seb and Zach to follow, but that's going to be second for Seb. Carriage on the podium because of Seb's penalties. There goes Paga, and it's going to be followed by Cohen. Cohen up into fourth. Look at these penalties. Skyzy's overtaking Archie in the final turn, but he's run really wide. That's going to be Archie back past. And look at that, Skyzy's run very wide on the end of the final turn there. Game Boy's running wide out of turn 19. Gentle on the throttle. You don't want to bin it out of the penultimate turn. Look at that oversteer. The rain is really having an effect. There goes Game Boys. He's up into 9th there then. And Deneen taking himself out across the line. Big drift. Silas rather far behind. He's actually on the ends, as you can see. So he decided to take that gamble. And Million Mets fan is close behind, but really dropping back now. So yeah, I think any longer run they would have probably switched to inters at that point. Look at that. Still though, Silas struggling for grip. Look at that, struggling on the power, nearly losing out of the penultimate turn. And oh my goodness, oh that was a big drift across the line. Then it's Million Mets fan. He's going to be lost. She's going to be lost. Even going backwards across the line. I don't think that's very orthodox. And if this is real F1. FIA wouldn't be too happy about that, but I think we can let it slide. What a race then. Those last few laps are absolutely insane. And it's going to be the Haas on the top step today for Ireland. That is Seb. He just, in those adverse conditions, he absolutely stole the win there. Flanked by Zach and Carriage. Paga saying that is what you call league racing hell. I mean, that's the championship for Zach. Scuba even flanking him, not Seb. Yeah, and I think that is going to be the championship for Zach. So congratulations to him. There's no way CR7 can do it, and there's no way Corey can do it. Well, I think that deserves a round of applause. What a race, but the finishing order is going to be Scuba, Zach, Carriage, Cohen, CPI, Seb, Paga, Archie, Mr. Skyzy, Game Boys, Deneen, Silas, and Million Mets fan. The DNFs are going to be Mato, Hushrav, Jack, Lawmans, and CR7. What a race. And that starting incident, that'll be interesting to see from the other driver's perspective. But anyway guys, if you did enjoy that race, don't forget to leave a like to the ILR channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share it as well. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm Barless. I hope you enjoyed the race because I definitely did. What a race it has been. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.